Yeah. Uh, so the demo what you're attending, right? I think some of you may have gone through this. Okay, but let me just quickly take a few minutes of time and let me explain this to the people who have joined only today, right? So this is a completely a path for becoming a penetration tester or taking any kind of a roles in the information security related to the VAPT domain. Either you can start your career as a vulnerability assessor. You can also get into the penetration testing related roles. It could be network penetration testing, web application, okay, API, mobile, all of these things comes under this, right? So as a pen tester or maybe a person who wants to start their career into the information security, there are some prerequisites, right? You must be knowing the networking part, right? Suppose if you're probing an IP address, you at least you have to know what is that IP address, whether it is a public IP address or private IP address, okay? How to reach that IP address, what is the port number, what is the protocols, right? So basic, see how the attacks happens through the network. So you should have the basic understanding of the network, right? For that, you don't need to go and study the complete networking part. So I have added all the required network topics over here. And, you know, here, okay, when you're learning technical things, right, like tools, playing around the tools and all, you, I mean, we use something called Kali Linux operating system. Okay, I mean, this is also called as a hacker's operating system. So it's meant for information security people like, the pen testers or security engineers or forensics and reverse engineering, whoever wants to get into this particular field. For them, of course, the Kali Linux operating system is something which is like necessary skill, right? Later part in IT, if you would like to maybe, interact with any kind of a servers, you will see most of the Linux servers only over there. At least to perform the basic operations in the Linux operating system, you must be knowing the basics of Linux, right? So that's the reason we added all of the basic Linux and networking skills here in the foundational skills, right? And then we have the ethical hacking and VAPT essentials. Okay, you have the prerequisites over here in the phase one, okay, which takes approximately 20 days of a time to complete all of these prerequisites and make you comfortable with the foundation, right? Then we'll start with the ethical hacking skills. See, first of all, here, teaching of ethical hacking is something only to create your mindset. Okay, what mindset? Attacker kind of a mindset, right? See, we are going to work for some company, okay, to safeguard their infrastructure, to protect all the attacks from the various threats, right? So you must know how the hackers are, using the tools and techniques to break into the systems and networks and server, right? So first you need to understand that, right? If you wanted to, beat a bad guy, okay, what is important? You need to understand them properly. Then only, okay, you will be able to, okay, become a good ethical hacker, right? So that is the whole motive of having the ethical hacking over here. And it's like essential skill also, right? If you don't know how the hacks are happening, you cannot give the proper solution to fix it, or you cannot choose the right security policy to implement in the organization, right? So here we added the ethical hacking skills in the phase two, and of course the VAPT essentials, right? It's all about here building your mindset like a attacker, and then with the same thing you're going to apply over here. Okay, I mean these are some of the advanced skills or intermediate skills as a part of the hacking and penetration testing, right? and you are going to apply the same ethical hacking concepts in a systematic way, okay, to complete your specialized course, which is web application hacking, API, and network pen testing. Right? These are all penetration testing courses. These are all professional courses. And if you learn this, of course, you will have the good opportunities in the market, right? And of course, there is a demand also, as I said, right? This is like kind of a rare skill, I can say. The companies will, really find or maybe struggle to find such type of skilled people in this specific area, right? But of course, it is not so easy to reach here, right? You need to learn the foundations very strong. Of course, some of you, may have already started the self-learning and all. That is a good habit. To become a security professional, you should have that self-learning skills, right? And all of the things, right? Whatever we have, of course, I have added over here a day-wise plan. Okay, if you don't have this document, you can contact your coordinator. They can give you this day-wise plan to you, right? And of course, all the sessions will be recorded and will be shared to you. And every session, I mean, after every session, you will also have the what the labs, the practical labs that you have to complete it. Okay. So maybe I can quickly show you the previous labs to you just to make you understand how the labs will look like and how we do it. Just a minute. I'm opening it. Can you see my screen? The labs. So once the registrations are closed, right? What we do, we create a groups like this, and we add the people in it, and we assign the, um, of course, assignments over here. So this is the today's assignments for the batch 7, right? So yeah, they'll be completing all the labs. Okay, like we'll also be giving the time to them. Yeah, so they'll be doing the labs over here and submitting it, and I'll be reviewing those labs. Okay, if there is any changes or something, if you're not going in the right way, I'll of course help you. The advantage is you will be completing the same sessions. I mean, you will be completing all the labs practicals in the same day, and it'll also be kind of a document, or I can say notes kind of a thing. And when you go and look into it later part, you will be easily able to recall it. Right, this is all about course, 12 weeks plan, and this is how we are going to learn and, uh, get into the VAPT domain, right? Uh, so this is, I mean, till here it's all one part, right? And this is something which I have already discussed in the last session, but of course, I am covering today as well just to give you the high level understanding about the course, structure and how we are going to learn it for the people who have joined today. Now let's talk about some maybe a demo. I mean, let's talk about some technical topic, or maybe let me uh, make you understand what is this VAPT domain is basically, and you know what we do. Okay, if we start works in this specific domain, what sort of a work that we may have to deal with. I'll just give you the high level you know overview of that. Fine. Hmm?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. um Fine. So I'll tell you, right? I'll open a notepad. Let me open a Word document. Okay. See, guys, when you say vulnerability assessment and penetration testing. Of course, we have steps to reach here. Okay, but when you wanted to begin your career either with the vulnerability assessor or a penetration tester, you can, you know, when after this course, okay, once you learn all this, you know, topics, you can get started. So when I say vulnerability assessor or vulnerability assessment, okay, so what we do over here is, right, of course, when I say this VAPT and all, of course, it's a part of cybersecurity, and cybersecurity is a very big, umbrella. So one of the domain in the cybersecurity is the VAPT, right? Vulnerability assessment and penetration testing, right? So what we do as a part of this vulnerability assessment and penetration testing is, first of all, what is vulnerability, right? What is vulnerability? So vulnerability is a weakness, right? Vulnerability is weakness. So the weakness could be anywhere. It could be on the hardware level, in the kernel, operating system, applications, network, right? The weakness could be anywhere. So what do, we, you know, identify those vulnerabilities in the organization assets by performing maybe a scanning, okay, or using some kind of a manual technique, right? What we do, we identify these weaknesses or a flaws in the organization systems, network, or application, right? So it will be helpful for the organizations, right? I mean to say, if there is a weakness, hackers will definitely try to take the advantage of the that weakness, right? So if you're running some server, let's say, by opening certain services without it is allowing anyone to log in into it. Of course, they download all the sensitive information with them, right? Depending on the motive, damage that he wants to do it, he can do it, right? So our responsibility when you work as a VAPT or as a security consultant, okay, in this specific role, is to identify those weaknesses like a hacker, okay, and fix them, or you tell someone to fix it, the right owner, before someone exploits it, okay, before someone takes the advantage of it. Okay, when I say before someone, it's like attackers, right? What we do in the vulnerability assessment, we identify the flaws, okay, in all the organization assets before someone exploits it. Is my voice is clear? Guys, I can see a message that my voice is breaking. Is it clear?
Now
Now
it's
it's clear
clear.
time, but then before it was a bit
Okay,
not
okay.
clear.
So I've disconnected. Sorry. Can you see my screen again? Hello?
It's loading. Now we can see it.
Can you see my screen? Okay. Yeah. So when you work in this specific domain, okay, vulnerability assessor or vulnerability management, your responsibility is to perform the regular scans on the infrastructure to identify the known vulnerabilities and highlight them to the respective teams and tell them to fix it. Right? Having these vulnerabilities is risk, right? When you say there is a risk, I mean, someone can maybe exploit it and they can take the advantage of it. So it's a proactive approach all the organizations are following. Okay. So they need a person who perform all of these activities like scanning, onboarding all the assets, and then identifying the current security posture with the list of vulnerabilities, and that to prioritize all the issues, right? When you have thousands of vulnerabilities, which one to fix it early, right? All of the things will be included over here. So if you go to something like vulnerability assessment jobs in India, you will have various jobs. You can see 5 days ago, there is a opening in Capgemini, ABB, Deloitte, right? Of course, these are all job posts which are publicly there, but sometimes the hirings will also happen directly when you know put your profile into the Naukri and other websites, right? So if you go and look into the job description, right, what they expect you, okay, let me choose anything, right? Okay, so what they expect you over here is they need cybersecurity and penetration tester who can perform the manual penetration testing, SAST, DAST, API, okay, all of these things. What tools they needed, and all of the tools are also mentioned. Okay, this is like 3 to 9 years experience. You can see, right? Randomly, you can go and search, and you'll get. There is also something called this one, Hyderabad. Okay, you have good openings also in this specific domain, but comparing to penetration testing, okay, it is like uh, see, kind of a beginner role, I can say. Vulnerability assessment, only vulnerability assessment related thing is like beginner kind of a role, right? If you know penetration testing also, that is the added advantage to you, and that is like I can say must and should skill to get a good pay. That is what the demand is right now in the market, right? See, identifying the vulnerabilities, performing the scans, anyone with the basic cybersecurity knowledge, handling of a specific tool, they can do it, correct? So where we make the difference, right? So ourselves, we need to, uh, you know, load or learn this kind of a capabilities, right? Whatever the vulnerabilities that you identify is one part. Okay, that too with the tools kind of a thing. But when you say penetration testing, it's going one step ahead, right? Okay, you identified the issue, that's fine, right? But you go and exploit it like a hacker and tell them the actual impact of it, right? See, boss, there was an issue or there is an issue. I have taken advantage of it, right? I mean to say, I have broken into it using that loophole. I got all the access. So if you are leaving it as it is, someone can also able to get into it in the same way, and they can do malicious things in it, right? You're showing them the actual impact, right? So that's the reason when I say pen testing, it's going one step ahead of the vulnerability assessment. And of course, it's an authorized activity that we do it by taking the proper permissions from the owner. And we do it in a controlled way because we work for them, right? We don't have any kind of a malicious intent. Our intention is to only just to show them the actual penetration testing results, right? That is what the penetration testing is, right? So in it, we have web application, API, network is what we have plans to cover in this course. Okay, with this easily you can start, 2 to 3 years kind of an experience related jobs. Okay, hope it is clear now, right? When I say vulnerability assessment, it's for identifying and classifying the vulnerabilities in the system. So here we use a technique called scanning, which could be an automated tool or manually also we can able to identify. So we have tools like, so in this course we are going to learn tools called Nessus, uh, which is, when you scan those assets, right? The target assets with by giving IP addresses, it'll show you like this, which vulnerability has how many issues with the colors, good colors with a good dashboard kind of a thing. And the next tool, what we are going to cover in this specific category is Qualys. Okay, Qualys is also one of the tool most companies will use it. Qualys and Nessus, these are like very popular vulnerability assessment or vulnerability management tools, I can say, right? So yeah, you can also explore this after the session about these tools, and you will understand it, right? And OpenVAS is something which is a open source tool, I can say. These tools are paid tools. So in this course, we are going to cover the trial versions of those tools. But uh, the reason is very simple, you know it, right? The tools, which are paid, uh, we don't go and maybe purchase them because they are so expensive. So trial versions is something which we are going to use it in the real time also. When you start working on it, you will have most of the things same, of course, with some limited functionalities, but yeah, you'll be able to easily learn the other things also. And pen testing, see, pen testing again, okay, it's like a real hacking only, right? Whatever the skills that we are learning in the ethical hacking, those skills we are going to apply it over here in the systematic way, right? It always starts with planning. Okay, like what happens is there is one server, okay, which is running some kind of services. Of course, let's say it's exposed to the internet, right? So when you're exposing something to the internet, there is a risk, right? Who knows it? Hackers may target or they may try to find some kind of a flaws, again, exploit it, right? So what they do, they give that system access or network access to us, okay, like for penetration testers, okay, before they maybe keep that environment into the live kind of a thing. So what we do, we go and like a hacker, we also use the same kind of tools and techniques to identify the vulnerabilities. If you find any vulnerabilities in it, we write a report to them and they'll fix it. And it's all happens with the proper planning, by proper, defining the proper scope. Okay. Um, right. So it's all like proper NDA and all, will be signed, uh, kind of a thing, right? So you'll have an exact scope, okay? And you will have a timeline. You will be taking an approval with them, what tools you are going to use it and how many days you are going to perform this assessment. And once you find the issues, you are not be disclosing to anyone or putting into the public, right? So it's all happens with the proper, what we can say. I'm not getting the right word. Uh, like, I mean, uh, sorry, right? Sometimes it happens. So, uh, like, legal kind of a thing, right? So, yeah, we have the code of ethic, okay, that we need to follow it, to give. the exact service what they're expecting from us, right? So once the planning is done, of course, it all start with the information gathering. Then we exploit it, and we also do the post exploitation, and we give the recommendations to them to fix it, okay, in a proper documentation way. So if I want to show some reports to you, like the reports, the penetration testing reports will look like this, right? So like this is some pen testing report which I have. This is what they expect, guys, when we do penetration testing. Uh, okay, whatever the issues that you identify, you will be adding it over here in the technical part. Like let's say you identified a cross-site scripting, which is one of the web attack. Okay, don't worry. Maybe a few people not aware of it. So we will be reporting them. What is the issue? Okay, issue details, where it is identified. Okay, we'll add the screenshots kind of a thing over here, and we will also give the risk rating to them along with the recommendations. Okay, I have the other reports also. Every company will have their own reporting format. According to that, we need to add and add the details and publish it. Okay, if you see this is also another report. So here all the technical things are added, right? So let's say they are using weak cryptography secrets, right? So they are using some tool called JWT tool. Okay, so they are yeah. So they got the so they'll add the screenshot. Okay, how they have able to identify that specific issue with the remediations. So by following these remediations, the respective owners or the development team, whoever it is, they'll fix this issue, guys. They'll fix this issue. Okay, clear? Understand? This is the main difference between the vulnerability assessment and the penetration testing. Okay. And what is the benefits? Okay, what is the key benefits? So of course, we'll be able to identify the security weaknesses. Okay, before some bad guys identifies and take the advantage of it. And it enhances the security posture, right? Suppose if you're doing the assessment on the network, so network vulnerabilities you will get to know and you will work on fixing it. So definitely it adds some value addition. You will be knowing what are the weak points we have, where to focus more, what sort of a security things that we need to improve it or adapt it, right? So it increase the security posture for an organization, and you can also be compliant. Okay, like nowadays it's like kind of a mandatory kind of a thing to be a compliant, right? Uh, like depending on the kind of a data that we deal with or kind of a systems that we talk to, the companies have to be compliant with. So, for an example, let's say your application is talking with banking application, okay, which has users credit card or some kind of a payment, you know, um, payment card related data, credit card or some kind of sensitive data. So there are some regulatories, how to handle the data, right, in the rest or in the transmit. See, now you will be giving your data to the Amazon, Flipkart, right, when you wanted to purchase something. Huh? And next time when you want to make some payment, will that data get stores in their system or not? Hmm?
Yes.
Yes, right. I mean, you definitely have an option there to store or not. That is user consent. But when you select save, so your financial details are getting stored inside their database. So they have to be compliant in terms of how to store the data with the PCI DSS, which is Payment Card Industry Data Security Standard. Suppose if you're dealing, let's say, with the European clients, so there we have something called GDPR, okay, Global Data Protection, right? So you have to be compliant with that. What happens if you're not compliant with it? If you're not following this, say, because of not following it, if there is any data breach or any audit happens, and if they find any um, you know, uh, I mean, sensitive data is, let's say, not being encrypted. So, for an example, it's in clear text. They'll fine a lot, and the company reputation will, of course, goes down. Stocks will also goes down. People will not trust if in case if some bad thing happens with it, like data breaches and all, right? So it's like, yeah, and of course the reputation part and also the cost saving, right? So see, prevention is better than cure, right? So after identifying some security incident, if you go and procure security tools and maybe hire security people, will not make sense. It has to start from the beginning so that you will save a lot of money, right? By preventing the various security incidents. Okay. And yeah, and what is the objective of the course and the overview? Of course, end of this course, as I said, you can start applying for the entry to advanced level jobs in this specific domain. And yeah, you'll be good at identifying the flaws and exploiting those flaws in the system, right? Of course, with the industry security tools and standards. So like all the things are practical. So as you see the documentation which is submitted, I mean, the assignments, right? If you see any assignments, right? So all those assignments are actually practical assignments. If you take any assignment, it's all practical, right? So there is nothing like we are doing some kind of a theory kind of a thing, right? So, but you have to regularly, okay, without missing, need to complete the assignments. Okay, that's where you will improve your skills. You can see all the practicals, step by step, they are creating the things. Similar way, of course, you are also going to learn it, but make sure you're following the proper plan and you're, learning all the skills. And then, of course, you'll be ready to apply all of these skills in the real time. First, we do it in our own lab. I'll help you to set up this local lab to you in the virtual box. Like this is my virtual box. Okay. So inside this, I'll be installing one Docker system and then couple of target systems. So we'll be learning here itself until we get a good understanding of using these tools and concepts, right? Then we start applying the skills in the real time. So what are the skills which are required, the technical skills, which are considered as fundamental skills? I'm not putting you on your head. We are only, I mean, we are covering this, right? That's what this particular thing I told you, right? So where is it? The 12 weeks plan, right? It's there. The first 15 to 20 days, I'll just make you comfortable of all this basic skills. Then only we'll start with the learning the actual course. So this is the uh, lab. I mean, to do the lab setup in your system, this is the basic configuration, what I'm expecting. Okay. So I hope everyone is having nowadays, I think more, I mean, everyone is using the i5 only, right? i5, i7 with at least 8 to 16 GB is something what I'm expecting. So on top of your system, we create this virtualization layer and then of course we install a couple of virtual systems and start using it. Online labs are also there for the people who are, maybe wanted to go with the online labs. But the kind of a flexibility that we will be having in our own labs, you'll not get it in the online because it's all dedicated things. Only you'll be able to do it as per the design lab. Understand? Clear? Yeah, guys. Yeah, I'll take up if you have any questions, guys.
Hi, sir. Myself, Devi.
Yeah.
What made you to choose the security field, sir?
Okay. So first of all, because of interest in this field, right? So initially, when you say hacking, who will not have the interest to learn this, right? So it's all started with like uh, hacking with hacking, mobiles, and the interest, how the real systems will get compromised, how the phishing attack happens and all. Okay, that's where I have started this journey, and then slowly myself, I got an opportunity to get into, of course, the VAPT domain, right? First, I worked few days into the vulnerability assessment, and then I jumped into pen testing. Again, from there, I have upgraded myself, to the product security, right? So, yeah, it's mainly because of interest. That's what I can say. Because see, when you work also in this domain, the kind of a satisfaction that you get is like different because you are making um, companies secure, right? You also feel yourself that you're making some difference.
Yeah, sir. That's fine.
Yeah. Even some companies will hire you without looking your education background, certifications, okay? Just purely looking at your skills. I think the day that you ask question also I said same thing. It's all matter of skills. Okay.
Yeah, sir. But sometimes that happens very rarely. By chance, we get that chances.
Yeah. See, if you have a skills, definitely you will have a job. Okay. So you just need to showcase them in the right way, right? If you know work, if there is any position, why I'll not consider you? Forget about me, anyone. Definitely they'll consider you because of the domain that is there in this right specific um yeah field. Even you can also start working as a bug bounty hunter. Okay, there is something called bug bounty. You go and I mean there are list of targets are there in the bug bounty platforms. You find a bug, and if that is valid, they'll give you a reward for it. Do you know this?
No, sir. This is the first time I'm hearing this.
Okay, right. There's something called bug bounty. So you have some platforms like HackerOne or Bug Crowd, right? So here, these are two websites I can say, right? So they'll give you some targets to you, some companies. Okay. So if you can able to find some flaws in it, let's say we have something called iFood, right? So this is the target that you have. So right now, 153 bucks are vulnerabilities which are reported to them, and they're also paying it for, right? Uh, Average payout for this 153 is like $667. Okay. So you have a targets over here. If you find anything like a very critical, your pay is in between this. It's like priority, like P1, P2, P3 kind of a thing. And this is your target. Okay. And you have all the information over here. So you have a mobile application, you have a domain, right? Couple of domains, right? So you also have some other domains over here. So these are all your targets now. Okay, of course, which are like bit secured comparing with the ones what you tested. It is in the development because here, I mean, if they are coming to this bug bounty means their internal security team would have already identified and fixed the as much as possible issues in it. Okay, but still they wanted to, maybe give these websites to the hackers and see if they can able to find something which is missed by their internal team kind of a thing, right? It seems to be like Swiggy, Zomato kind of a website, right? So yeah, understand. This is bug bounty. Yeah, guys. What else questions you have? Feel free to ask all of your questions and clarify things.
Sir, as per your point of view, which one is better as a fresher, as stock analyst or VAPT?
See, SOC, I mean, I'll tell you the difference. Okay, I'll not tell you which one is better, even if someone is working, in a different role in a different domain. That might be a good for them or good for me because I don't want to judge. Okay, which one is good,
I
right?
mean, as a fresher, I mean, you have 8 years of experience, no? As a fresher, how can we get into cybersecurity field?
So it's all skills. Okay,
Uh,
it's all
okay.
skills. See, so I'll tell you, right? So if you go to the socks a sock as a fresher, the entry might be bit easy comparing with the VAPT. Okay, so what happens is once you go to the sock, you will get this alerts. Let's say if some system is maybe having, let's say someone is attacking it or it identifies that as an attack or a pattern, you will get the alert or an incident. Okay, that we call it as an incident. Then you have to go and verify whether it's a false positive or true positive. You need to document it and then you need to choose the proper actions on it, right? And when you work in this specific domain, it's a 24 into 7 shift job because when you're in monitoring job, it's a monitoring job, right? What happens is the hacker may attack anytime and you will have the clear SLAs over there. You need to respond to this particular incident within so on so time, right? Okay, you will initially start as a fresher with this. Okay, maybe night shifts or something you're comfortable and you'll start working on it. Let's think of your career maybe after 3 years or 4 years. Okay, so you'll be not ready to do the shift jobs. You might have some kind of health issues. Okay. Again, there won't be much growth also in that SOC domain. It's all about monitoring, right? Once the tools are set it up, what you do, you will do monitoring, monitoring, monitoring. Okay, anyone can do it, right? Even a normal either fresher also can do it. Just because of entry, if you're choosing it, that's fine. You can get into it. I'm not saying it's not wrong. Okay, but yeah, that is what happened usually. I have seen many people from the SOC again jumping into the different part, right? But if you are concentratedly, focusing on this particular VAPT domain, and if you're learning it, right? So here you will have the opportunities to enhance and move forward into the different areas. Like I'll tell you an example, right? So like you start with a VA maybe. That is also entry level job only. Comparing with the SOG, it's a good one. Okay, VA, vulnerability assessment. Then maybe let's go to the penetration testing, learn application pen testing, API pen testing, and then upgrade yourself to mobile pen testing, right? Android and ISO. So once your pen testing is done, okay, what is the next thing? You will have a product security, right? You come to the product security for a few years, then understand in and out where to implement the security for which layer of this product, security life cycle, and you will have a managerial kind of a roles also in this specific domain. And the product security is something which is always there in every company, right? You can settle yourself as an architect or manager, right? In a high level with a technical skill, okay, like techno managerial kind of a thing. You understand? So this is how you need to plan it, and you should not think about only like how to get into it, maybe for just for a job. You have to plan your career in a such a way that you will be going in the right direction. And yeah, hope you got this conclusion.
Okay, okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, any other questions? Yeah, so from tomorrow onwards, we're finalizing the batch. We got some enrollments already, right? So just contact with your respective, you know, I can say the coordinator, and take the more information and get the clarity if you want. And then we can start this batch from tomorrow, I can say, right? I think they are also started creating the WhatsApp group. Yeah, I think next 1 or 2 days it will be like basic things only. Yeah, then we'll start with the actual sessions once the enrollments are completed or closed. Right, that's what the plan. Fine. So uh, yeah, if you don't have any questions, you can drop off. People who have the questions, you can stay back in the call.